So this is a Sprite Major 4SB. Just going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. Front of the van, you've got your hitch, jockey wheel and handbrake and your connection to the car. This will be sent, a separate video will be sent over to you explaining how this works. At the front of the van, you've got your gas bottle valve, as you can see, on and off on top. Gas pipe work going up to the regulator, and the fitment on the bottle, the fitment that goes into the bottle is actually a reverse thread fitting. On the front right hand side of the van, you've got your Truma vent just here. That is for the gas flue, essentially for the heating and hot water system. And below that on either side you have your wind down leg. Next up we've got our AC roll and water pump connection. So you connect the water pump into the side of the van. Blue trigger at the bottom to release it and push it into the side of the van. Then have your battery box and mains power lead coming into the van, which is connected to the power on site. Have your fridge vents that allow hot air to come out the back of the fridge system, and it's also the gas flue for the gas operation of the fridge. You've then got your motor mover and wheel nuts. The motor mover itself will demonstrate at the end of the video, and the wheel nuts will be torqued before it's delivered to you. However, we do recommend before you travel with the caravan each time that you tighten the wheel nuts to 120 Newton meters, just so you know they're secure before travelling. The water that goes in the front of the van has to come out somewhere, and that is just here on the side of the van. So your two grey waste pipes will go into the side of the van and drop down into your waste master. At the back of the van, behind this flap, you have your water fill for the flush system on the toilet. We put 3.5 litres of water in and a capful of the pink fluid. At the bottom, you've got your toilet cassette. So you push your two buttons in and it'll open up the cassette locker. And then at the bottom here, you have your toilet cassette itself. To release it, you pull the orange handle up and pull it towards you. You've got an orange pressure relief valve on the back of the cassette itself. So when you're tipping the waste away, you can press that button in so it doesn't spit and splatter back at you as you're tipping the waste away. The neck here you can turn out to allow you to tip the waste out, and the grey cap here just comes off, and that is also a measure for the blue fluid. So when I say one capful, that is what I'm referring to. So before you use the toilet cassette, you'll need to put 1 litre of water into it and a capful of the blue fluid. On the rear of the van, you've got your wind down leg. Again, on either side, we've only got one down for the purpose of handover, as you can see. So you'd wind down the legs and stabilise the van with them. You would never lift the caravan off the ground with the legs itself. You've then got your locker for storage underneath the bed at the rear of the caravan. So you can access that storage facility. I'll show you how to access that from the inside also. And again, just down the front, you've got your other wind down leg to this front left hand side of the van. As you can see, we've now come onto the inside of the caravan. I'm just going to demonstrate how everything works on the inside. Above the door, you've got your main power switch for the caravan, so you've got power on and off just here. You've got your external light for the outside of the van. You've got your lights for above the cabinets, and then you've got your main interior lights on the switch just here. The rest of the control panel fairly self-explanatory. Time at the top, voltage of the battery on board, and your dimmer brightness. Now what that means is the lights above the cabinet, you can actually hit the arrow just here, and they're what they call mood setting lights, and you can adjust the brightness of the lights to the desired level. The radio is working, and it was on until I come inside the van, but let's see if I can just get it to work so you can hear it's all operational. There we go. Radio working as you'd expect to. Works very similar to your car radio. Power on and off in the centre, so you press and hold, and that'll turn the radio back off. First thing you're going to do when you come inside the van, apart from turning on your power above the door, is go underneath the seat on the far front hand side of the van and make sure the water valve is in the parallel position with the floor. So that's your fill position. When it's pointing up towards the bottom of the seat, it's actually the drain position for the water system. I'll show you how to drain that off later in the video. But to fill the system, you'll make sure that valve is shut. Then you've got your AC roll and waste master connected on the outside. AC roll connected on the outside of the van with the water pump. You'll then come over to every tap on board the van. Now you'll actually notice I've already filled the water system completely. I've got it warm, so hopefully you can see it steaming in the video. So So you'll put that into place. So as I said, you're going to open every tap up to completely on. As you'll see, the water system's full, but you're going to open all the taps up on the hot side to allow the water system to bleed, and hopefully you can see the hot water steaming away just there. So you can see it's nice and warm and working as it should. And like I said, you'll open up the tap in the kitchen and the tap in the shower also. Just going to show you they're all working also. And the shower head as well, working as it should be. So open all the taps up. Once you get all the taps opened up on the hot side, you can come down to the control panel for the heating and for the water pump, and then you can turn the water pump on the bottom left hand side. So if the pump's off, there'll be no light on, and if the pump's on, it'll draw the water up through the system. To start with, when you fill the water system, it's going to spit and splatter a little bit to start with. Once it runs continuously, you can shut all the taps down on board the caravan, and then you can go to the water heating and heating for the caravan itself. So at that point, I'm going to show to you the control panel for the heating and hot water. So above the door, you've got the control panel here. The time is wrong because we haven't set it yet. So you press the central button and it will take you into the options for the control panel for the heating and hot water. The first symbol you see flashing here, and if I press the button again, it will take us into the options for that, is the heating internally for the caravan. So you've got the spin dial here on the front that you can spin round, as you can see, to set the different temperatures, all the way up to 30 degrees. And to set the temperature, press the central button, and that will set the onboard temperature of the caravan. If I spin the dial to the right, while that's flashing at the top there, you'll actually then be able to turn on the water heating. So you've got water off, heating off, eco, hot, and boost. So if you're showering, you'll have it on boost, and I would advise to use gas for that as well when you're trying to boost the system. Otherwise, it will just be hot water, or off. Eco is around 30 degrees, hot is around 40 to 45 degrees, and boost is essentially boosting up to the highest temperature it does. So again, press the middle button to set the temperature of the hot water. Spin the dial to the right, and it will give you options for the heating and hot water system, for what power supply you want to run on. So you've got gas on its own, mix 1, which is 1000 watts of power, and gas at the same time. So the 1000 watts relates to the power coming into the caravan. Mix 2 is 2000 watts and gas coming into the caravan at the same time. Electric 1 is 1000 watts of power on its own, and electric 2 is 2000 watts of power coming into the caravan on its own. And again, to select that option, whichever one it may be, hit the button, and that will select your electrical supply or gas supply. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the blown air heating for the caravan. So again, we'll press the central button, go across to the fan symbol on the right hand side here, press the button in again, then you've either got eco for the fan, or high, or boost on this particular van. So you can set it to which one you'd like it to. I would advise, if it's particularly cold, that you use it on the boost just to get the van warm, and then maybe turn it back down to the high or eco just to keep the temperature inside the van. And again, to set that, press the central button, and that will set the system for you. At the bottom, you've got 3 options down here that I advise you read the manuals for. You've got the timer system for the heating and hot water, you've got the general clock settings, and you've got the spanner symbol down here, which is more for the engineers to set different options inside the control panel itself. Next thing I'm going to take you to is the fridge. So we're going to press the power button, turn the fridge on. At that point, you can see it's automatically come on mains power. If you're on mains or gas, you can control the temperature of the fridge by pressing the thermometer button on the right hand side. If you want to change the power source you're using, you can put it onto auto, so it always goes back to mains as your first power source. 12-volt battery for when you're towing down the road, and as you'll hear at the moment, it's bleeping at me, letting me know there's no connection from the car at the front. So when you've got a car connected at the front of the van, you'll be able to use the fridge as a call box while you're travelling down the road. If you want to go onto gas, it will self-ignite on gas, and again, if it failed to ignite for any reason, it would flash on this warning light just here. But if it does ignite, the blue pilot light just here is letting you know it's working fine. And again, temperature control on the button just here. Turn the fridge off, press and hold the power button, and the fridge and freezer unit will turn off completely. Next up, I'm going to show you the operation, show you that the gas system is working on board the van. As you can see, Everything ignited on the hob as you'd expect to see. We'll go to the grill next. So just down here is the grill. As you can see, the grill is burning as you'd expect it to. And again, cooker working away as it should. Making me hungry just looking at the oven. The bed, as I said, under bed storage, so you can lift up the bed unit and you can get into the storage and access the spare wheel also. The last thing on the inside of the caravan I'm going to come to is the toilet system. Also, I'll actually show you the drain down after this, but you've got an electric flush on top of the toilet. As I said, you fill that from the outside. You've got a warning light here to let you know the waste cassette is full. So that's the toilet waste cassette, so that will appear red when it is full. The toilet turns for your convenience. However, when you're emptying the cassette, you do need to make sure the toilet is pointing straight across towards the shower. And below the toilet you have the waste flap itself to allow the toilet waste into the cassette underneath, and you'd always open that before using the loo on board the van. So we'll shut that back off. So to drain down the water system, first of all we're going to come over to the tap, over to the control panel above the door. We're going to turn off the water pump. We're going to go to the taps again, and what you'll do at this point is you'll open all the taps in the central position. So you'll find the central, so around there. Open up the valve on each tap to get any water that's out of the pipes on board the van. Same in the bathroom. You see, that will slowly let the pressure away. And the shower also. What I would advise is when you're doing this, the same as when you drain the water system down, either put the shower head in the sink, or if you're travelling, in the shower tray itself. Then we'll come to the front of the van, underneath the bed at the front, on the right hand side. And we'll open up the drain valve just here. That will drain down the water system on board the van. At that point you can go onto the outside of the van and disconnect the water pump, which when you receive the van will actually be in the front locker. So we'll pull the pump out, take it out the aqua roll, shake any water out the pipe just so it doesn't freeze up in there. And then inside the front locker, as you can see, you'll turn off the gas before you travel. That's isolated. We'll put the leg down on back up on the rear of the caravan, so I'm just going to grab the drill for that. We'll come to the back of the caravan, in this particular case, and wind up the leg. And once all the legs are up, then we can demonstrate the motor mover to you. So, inside of the van, on the seat at the front, you'll notice we've got a motor mover engagement bar just here, motor mover control, and power key itself. At that point what we can do is we can go to the mover, step out of the way, put the bar onto the mover, pull it over. So at that point, once you've got the bar on, you can pull the motor mover bar over and lock it into place, as you can see. That'll do both sides of the van at the same time. At that point we can grab the powers key and the motor mover control again, take them around to the other side of the van with us, release the handbrake, disconnect the power lead out the side of the van, we can get the motor mover power switch behind this cap. So put the key into place and turn it 90 degrees, as you can see. Turn the controller on by pressing the two green buttons, so the controllers come on. And at that point, we should be able to move the caravan forward. backwards. Turn. Turn. And then he turns the opposite way. And the other way also. Let's go in reverse. Backwards, as you can see. And to spin on the spot, you'll hold the two buttons opposite each other, and that will spin the caravan completely through 360 degrees. To turn the motor mover back off, you'll turn the two green buttons off on the controller, press the two buttons at the same time, pull the handbrake on, turn off the power key in the side of the locker. Most people leave the key in the bottom of that locker itself. The motor mover control will be left just inside the doorway for you, and then you'll disengage the motor mover itself. If you have any further questions on the Sprite Major 4SB, please do give us a call here at the Caravan Company, and I'd be more than happy to help. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.